is going to absolutely upend everything you believe you know about Chrissy and Jim Jones. So think twice. What if I told you that, instead of his enemies, Jim's greatest betrayal came from Chrissy, the person he trusted the most? It's not just a little secret. It's the kind of bombshell that may destroy their entire universe. It is difficult to accept Chrissy's existence because every bombshell that Camron's family has been releasing exposes a twisted reality, be revealed in a way that nobody anticipated, leaving Jim unprepared, duped, and helpless. What should you do when the person you love is concealing the darkest secrets you could possibly imagine? Is not just a rumor. It will be a comprehensive exposé of everything you did not know and could not have foreseen. The truth is worse than you anticipated, so if you believe you've heard the worst, you're not even close to it. So, pay attention. What if I told you that everything you thought you knew about Chrissy Lemon was wrong? What if the ideal relationship you've been witnessing on TV for more than 10 years was actually a network of lies? What happens if Jim Jones, the man who has trusted her for so long, is abruptly the victim of a betrayal so serious that it could destroy everything he has fought so hard to accomplish? Hold on. You're looking at Jim Jones, a truth bomb. It's not merely rumors. Let's analyze it and get a new perspective on Chrissy Elkin. Camron, who has supported Jim during his career's highs and lows, recently revealed something shocking that nobody saw coming. However, Jim is not the only one involved in this. Chrissy Lemon is at the center of a scandal so serious that it could ruin Jim's career and reveal the awful truth that no one knew existed. You've seen the Codair couple's goals, their glitzy photos, and their public appearances. But what goes on behind the scenes? In the scenes, a different story is told about Camron's family. Yes, Jim was unaware of the shocking information that Camron's family just revealed. We are talking about deep and dark realities that might bring down the whole house of cards. When you think about it, Jim has been living two lives with his longtime friend Chrissy, and now that the truth has come to light, Jim has to deal with the fallout. It is shocking to Jim and all those who have followed their path. The drama on reality TV is over. This is the pinnacle of treachery in real life. How did we arrive here? Thanks to Camron, a man who has never shied away from speaking his mind. The truth about Chrissy's covert existence has finally surfaced. Chrissy has been lying behind a mask for years, portraying herself as Jim's rock, despite her family demonstrating that she has participated in dubious activities, had covert affairs, and even made financial decisions that have damaged Jim's image. Jim, the man who was left in the wreckage, was taken aback by the betrayal of the person he most trusted. Now let's talk about the depth of thought. As they say, you can only hide the truth for so long, and now it's being exposed in the most dramatic way possible. Chrissy's secrets are more complex than trust. We're not just talking about infidelity or cheating. We're talking about business corruption, questionable transactions, and behind-the-scenes activities that were painstakingly kept hidden from Jim for years. Now that Camron has just revealed everything, the entire globe is watching as Jim's life is falling apart in real time. It is the first of several mysteries that include betrayal, wealth, and power. For years, Jim trusted Chrissy with both his business and his heart. Despite ventures collaborating on several initiatives and even building an empire, people familiar with the matter claim that Chrissy has been secretly conducting business and using her position to influence events behind the scenes. Due to Chrissy's involvement in a number of dubious financial transactions that he was unaware of, Jim is now liable for the losses and poor investments that resulted. Chrissy kept Jim in the dark. The most harmful feature of these agreements has she threatened to destroy his entire empire, but Jim believed in her and encouraged her. In addition to the private nature of this situation, Chrissy has been living a hidden life and having affairs for years without anyone knowing. We're discussing covert relationships, links to people Jim never would have considered, and outings that would destroy him if they had the chance. The ridiculous thing is that Camron knew all of this. His family had been secretly aware for some time. The man who helped create Jim's career has had enough, and everyone is aware of Chrissy's betrayal and dishonesty. He would do anything for Jim, but now that the truth is out, They're not keeping silent. However, money and extramarital affairs are less significant than loyalty and trust. Jim believed that he and Chrissy had both of these traits, but now he must pick up the pieces of a failing career by himself. Confront the fact that everything he believed to be true about Chrissy was false. Why is Camron now exposing her in this manner after all these years? Maybe it's related to their previous relationship. Auroras is tired of Chrissy's games, which have caused Jim more pain than anyone could have predicted. Actually, Camron is fed up with the lies and won't allow Chrissy to get away with it any longer. What was the extent of this betrayal? Chrissy has been playing a risky game while Jim has been kept in the dark. Was it all business, or is there more to this story? Does Chrissy have any other dark secrets that Jim was unaware of? Stay put, because we're just getting started, and the truth is going to blow everything up. There's no turning back now that he's on the streets and social media. The mess is far from done, though, as Chrissy Lampkin, the person he trusted and believed to be his rock, has betrayed him in the most heinous and visible way possible. The implications of these discoveries were beyond anyone's ability to foresee. Jim Jones, a hip-hop mogul, is experiencing what happens when everything you thought was safe and secure suddenly crumbles before your very eyes. However, Camron's family has been discreetly revealing the whole scope of this betrayal, which extends beyond minor money losses and covert affairs. So Chrissy isn't only acting in her own best interests. The world is just now beginning to piece together the network and complete clandestine plot that Chrissy was a part of. Chrissy is the only one responsible for his imminent loss of everything, including his career, reputation, and the entire business he has built over the years. She was only pulling strings behind Jim's back, playing both sides. Jim was unaware of the long-standing doubts that Camron, his best friend, had about Chrissy. This is when things start to get messy, because let's face it, everyone was engrossed in the notion that he and Chrissy were the ultimate power couple. Chrissy was dishonest beyond her financial schemes are appearing, and they're more important than anyone anticipated. Unsettling information about dubious business practices that Camron puts an almost unfathomable amount of faith in has been revealed by his family. Chrissy, the gatekeeper, concealed financial decisions from Jim that ought to have been revealed, and Jim is now suffering as a result of her cunning schemes for the ignorant. Jim allegedly trusted Chrissy with everything, and she exploited that trust, according to those familiar with the matter. The fact that Chrissy, who is supposed to be Jim's loyal friend, has been deceiving him and haggling behind his back regarding some of his investments is even worse. Chrissy was the mastermind behind a few dubious investments that Jim was not aware were being made in his name, whether they were shady real estate deals or businesses that embezzled money. When you consider it, Jim's business is at risk because of Chrissy's actions. It's not simply business, it's personal. Jim is now left to try to fix everything, but the damage is already done, and the public uproar is only getting started. As the story goes viral, fans and other celebrities are leaving comments, and the reactions are all over the place. Some are calling Chrissy a mastermind, while others are openly criticizing her, calling her a villain. But more concerning is the fact that Jim's own people are beginning to turn away from him, since they don't know his allegiances after this shocking revelation. This is where the real suffering starts, since Jim has not only been duped personally, but he is also currently dealing with the negative publicity that has resulted from the news leak. You know that once the truth is out, there's no going back. And now Jim's close friend Camron stated that he feels personally responsible for not seeing it coming sooner. Insiders said that even though Camron had been warning Jim for years that something was wrong with Chrissy, he was too emotionally gullible to realize that the woman he had spent so much time with may be involved in such a scheme. Camron is forced to face his own public death while attempting to determine whether Chrissy was behind the scenes, pulling all the strings. Camron is at his breaking point. It's one thing to see your friend struggling, but when it threatens all you've worked so hard to achieve, you have to speak up. Jim may be subject to civil action or even federal investigations into the questionable transactions Chrissy engaged in if it is proven that she deceived him by using his name and assets to make false claims. The public's response has been equally harsh, with supporters who formerly admired Jim and Chrissy now doubting their dedication. Given the current circumstances, Jim faces the very real possibility of going bankrupt and may be held responsible for part of those commitments. How could they have been so innocent as to think it was a true love tale when it was only a game for Chrissy? The criticism has been swift, and the world is now questioning who Jim was actually working with all these years, and his fan base is beginning to turn against him. Camron's family has even released recordings of some of the most startling revelations about Chrissy's private life. These publicly available recordings reveal shy Jim Jones and Chrissy Lampkin are popular Chrissy discussing her efforts to damage Jim's reputation by associating him with her for all the wrong reasons, and fans are smitten with them. The public's indignation has only grown as a result of these very flammable tapes, not to mention the present flurry on social media, where everyone is sharing their thoughts and beliefs. The tweet read, "Jim, you've been played." However, there is a darker side to all of this, as people are now wondering how much of Jim's career was based on lies. Was Chrissy keeping him back the entire time? Or did she actually have any impact on his success? With each fresh leak, the truth emerges from the never-ending rumors. Chrissy has been nothing but manipulative. Jim deserves better, someone comments. One thing is evident as the story goes on. Jim Jones is at a crossroads and faces not only a betrayal of his heart, but the complete collapse of his empire now that we know how much Chrissy Lynn has betrayed him. However, it is still unclear what will happen next. The public outcry, financial turmoil, and legal action are only the start of this mess. The world is watching, and it's about more than just Jim's job anymore. It's about his empire, his reputation, and possibly even his freedom being destroyed. What started off as a relationship straight out of a fairy tale has now devolved into a nightmare that no one could have predicted as the full extent of Chrissy's manipulations becomes apparent. The media circus surrounding Jim and Chrissy is growing worse every day, and the public backlash is spreading like wildfire. Of trust, the breakdown of friendships, and the possible devastation of what Jim has put so much effort into creating. Camron's family has decided to reveal more and more of Chrissy's sinister secrets as the investigation goes on, and the findings are astounding. Leaked records and unreleased audio reveal that Chrissy's role in Jim's financial crisis wasn't an accident, but rather a calculated move. In order to ensure that she had a solid grip over Jim's future, Chrissy organized a variety of business initiatives and investments that were all intended to drain a significant amount of money. She was playing a long game, knowing that Jim's prestige was rising. Why did Chrissy stand to benefit from this carefully thought-out plot that was intended to destroy Jim's career and steal his fortune? Let's examine it from the perspective of people who are familiar with the circumstances. The ultimate objective was to control the situation, not Jim. But when more of Chrissy's dubious activities are revealed, it becomes clear that she was not only plotting Jim's harm, but also covertly collaborating with others Jim had trusted to abuse him. An unidentified source's statement that Chrissy had been in continuous communication with Jim was one of the most startling disclosures to strike the public in recent years. The public awaits the fallout. Rivals are using Jim's name to make backroom deals that ultimately hurt him, and legal teams on both sides get ready for what appears to be the battle of Jim Jones's life, as the legal pressure increases and the accusations only get stronger. This goes far beyond a personal betrayal. Jim can face severe fines or perhaps criminal charges if Chrissy is proven to have engaged in financial manipulation. Is the kind of scandal that has the power to ruin lives, not just careers. Not to mention the media frenzy, which has both supporters and critics taking sides and is trending worldwide. The headlines are everywhere, and everyone is watching too. See how Camron exposes Chrissy, Jim Jones, and Sir Chrissy Lumpkin. While some people are blaming Jim and questioning how someone with Jim's level of authority could have been so easily tricked, the questions now also center on Chrissy and her future intentions. It is becoming evident that Chrissy's motivations were far more complex than anyone had previously thought, and the information is crucial to comprehending her actions. Several individuals have come forward to reveal that Chrissy was not. The worst aspect is that Jim was oblivious to his true loyalties, since Chrissy was covertly negotiating with people who were using him as a piece in a far larger game while meticulously preserving his reputation. Industry sources worry that financial fraud may cause irreversible harm as Jim's once stable enterprise is on the verge of collapse. Jim has been spending days by himself with his legal team, attempting to put his career back together as his mental health deteriorates under increasing pressure. Mismanagement and potential legal issues have cast doubt on Jim's future. But the greatest tragedy of all is that he trusted Chrissy with his business, his future, and his love, and she abandoned him at the most inconvenient moment. Will Jim Jones, as we know him, disappear? Chrissy has been silent. According to insiders, she is trying to put the incident behind her. But the truth about what she did will eventually come to light. Her reputation is in tatters, and the public is aware of what has been going on regardless of how hard she tries to hide it. Although Jim has always been a fighter, even the greatest fighters occasionally question their capacity to prevail. Completed, the walls are closing in on her. The truth is coming. But does she give a damn? Does she even give a damn about the harm she has done? Time will tell. Camron's family is demanding that Jim receive the justice he deserves and will not stop until all the facts are revealed, despite the fact that they have played a significant role in exposing Chrissy's wrongdoings. We can anticipate additional, more startling disclosures as the court dispute continues. Information to surface. And who can predict what the future holds for Chrissy Lampkin and Jim Jones? Although the narrative is far from over, it will surely live on in people's memories for a very long time. Will Jim rise above the ashes? Or will he be permanently destroyed by Chrissy's web of deceit and manipulation? Please share your thoughts below, so that we can begin the conversation. Will Jones be able to rebuild his life and career? Or will he be permanently destroyed by Chrissy Lampkin's web of deceit and treachery? Although the truth is known, the future is far from assured. But we want to know what you think. Is Jim's reign coming to an end? Or does he have what it takes to rise above the chaos? Is Chrissy Lampkin being set up in a larger plot? Or is she actually guilty? I can assure you that you will want to be the first to know about the more frightening revelations that are on the horizon. Watch this video and tell your friends about it if you want more behind-the-scenes drama. Which side are you on, Jim's or Chrissy's? As we dig deeper into this tale, more questions arise. Don't just sit there, though. Share your thoughts on the matter in the comment section below. To ensure you don't miss any updates, please ring the bell and click the subscribe button if you haven't already. For Jim, Chrissy, and the whole family, what comes next will be keeping tabs on everything and telling you the truth, no matter how startling. Make sure you follow along, subscribe, and be a part of this trip. You don't want to miss a moment of this amazing scandal, which we have only just begun to explore. This is only the beginning. Let's continue. The approaching reality.